Hi, fellow traders. I hope everybody's having a great weekend. I hope your weather is just as good as ours over here, albeit very hot. You know, Colombia is nicknamed famously hot, and we are. It's like we're in a trough here. We really don't get a whole lot of wind, and the heat just kind of sits, and we're like in an oven. But, you know, you get used to it after living your whole life here. But good to see some sun, be able to get out, do some things. Just had a great day. I'm sorry I haven't been able to do a lot recap videos this week. Not that really I didn't trade that much, as you'll see here in a minute. But I was trying to get caught up on my mentor sessions. You know, I limit how many people I can mentor at one time, but when you're out 2 weeks in a month, it really puts you behind. So I've been spending a lot of time doing that and trying to get caught up with my mentor sessions this month. But I should be back on track for next week, so I shouldn't have any lulls. But the following week, is kind of like a half week for me because we're going to a wedding. My wife's boss is getting married. So, well, I know I can't trade Thursday because that's the day that we travel. But may get to trade Wednesday. I'm not sure about the Friday. Not sure about the internet connection where we're going to be. But, you know, we'll see. I may just have a 1 day off week after next. But really looking forward to getting some rhythm back to my trading, and that's a big part of it. Now, I borrowed this quote from Franklin D. Roosevelt. I kind of didn't added my own word in there. You know, a calm sea never made a skilled sailor. You know, and when the sea is calm, and everything is in its place, it's a beautiful sail. But when the sea gets rough and things get a little crazy, and even when the sea is calm and the wind goes away and there's no wind, in both instances, a sailor is going to need to rely on his skill and poise in order to navigate through both situations. But the key is a sailor really can't learn unless he goes through these rough seas or goes through the period of just not having any wind. And we can easily relate this to our trading because, you know, if our trading is rough and we seem to be getting chopped up here and chopped up there, we learn from these experiences. We learn not to put ourselves in these situations anymore. We learn what to look for in price action and what to look for in the stock so that we get the moves that we look for. And likewise, when there's not anything there, we learn how to be patient and just let it come to us. You know, when I'm out sailing and the wind kind of dies down, because that happens to us sometimes. We get a lull out there, and then the next little front comes through, and then we've got some wind. But I had to learn how to read the water so that I knew which direction to try to head in to pick up the wind. And the only way I could do that, and the only way I learned how to do that, is through experience and through being out there and getting frustrated and not being able to find the wind, you know, for a few times. And then now I know what to do. And our trading is the same way. You know, when we don't have any stocks on our watch list and we don't have anything to trade, you know, we just have to be patient, stay poised, and just keep our eyes out for exactly what we're looking for. And once that wind starts to pick up, we see where it's at. I mean, we can make our move. But all of this is stuff that we learn through experience and through screen time, as a trader, that's what helps us get to that next level. I love getting these emails. I'm going to share these with you today, just a couple. But I love getting them every day. And, this lets me know that, okay, my teachings are coming through. Now, what happens a lot is traders get happy and they start sizing up too soon and they come crashing down and they have to start over again. That's all part of that rough seas process. It's going to happen. It happened to me a couple times. It's going to happen to everybody. But I'm glad to see when things start to kick in and people start to realize, if I manage my trades right, if I manage my risk right, I start small, I can slowly grow my account. And once you get consistent, then you can start adding size and you can start making more money. The whole issue is, and here's a thing from chat down here, this explains a lot. Yeah, man, I've been green the past 2 weeks. I've not made that much money, but I've been consistent. And that's what a lot of people say. I don't see how I'm going to make money if I just trade once a day. I don't see how I can make money trading just 100 shares. The problem is you're not supposed to be seeing how you can make money. You're supposed to be seeing how you can learn to trade and learn to be consistent. That's what it's about. That's what you should be looking for. Not money at this point. And this is what gets a lot of new traders in trouble, is they start looking for money quick because they want to quit their job as fast as possible. They just want to quit. And not realizing that, hey, you've got to establish yourself as a trader first. There's a lot of things you got to put into place. This is just the beginning, guys. There are a lot of things you have to put into place in order to be a professional trader. And you don't even see it now. And you can't start learning it now, because if you do, your trading will never get to where it needs to be so that you can make the move. So focus on trading. And I like this up until here. Just imagine if he had managed his losses on this day, how much money would he have made? Let's say he kept his losses to, say, $88. $283 for the week is not bad. Not when you're trading really small, and you're trying to stick to one or two trades a day. Because that's what's going to get you there. Okay, I know it's difficult, but, we can do it. And here's a guy, he was able to make $187 today trading MVRO. Both ways, long and short, reversal. Everything that we teach. He only had a $955 account, but he made it. Now, you're not going to make $187 every day, but you want to have the skill set available so that the opportunity it presents itself, you can actually do it. And that's what the bottom line is. And here's another one that I really like to see. He's saying he figured out what the mistakes he made, how he messed up trading, Netflix that day. This is reflection at its finest. This is I can't even think of the word strong enough for it. It's very, very important that you reflect on your trades. If you don't reflect and journal, if you skip that step, if you're too lazy to do it, I can tell you you're not going to be a successful trader. That's just how important journaling and reflection is. Journaling is a part of reflection. if you're not able to do that and monitor your trades, you're never going to be a successful trader. You're always going to be a trader in search of being a professional trader, of being a consistent trader. You have to do it. You got to put that work in. And that's why a lot of people I can't mentor, they're unwilling to reflect on their trades and send them to me so we could have something to work with. I can't do anything with you if you can't do anything for yourself. But these are the type emails that I really, really love to get. So what we're going to do is kind of, I'm going to go over a quick lesson here, something I really want to share with you guys about trading. And then we'll take a quick look at my stats for the week. I could probably save them and add them to next week, is how bad they are. But, it's all because I just haven't been trading. Just haven't really traded much. But still trying to get back into the groove of my normal routine, pretty much. So, last week in the webinar, I went over my main strategy. That's what I look for, the strategy that I look to use every morning. And, it takes different forms. It takes different shapes. And that's why I feel it's very important that I'm streaming my trading platform live, that you're actually watching me go in and out and attempt to manage my trades, because you're able to see the different variations to what I do, and it all depends on the price action as to if I have to make a change in what I'm doing. Now we'll have our entry. There's only two different entry strategies, and I shared those with you. And we have our targets. Now ideally we want to hold it until it gets to our target. But let's say our first target is a little bit further than 2 to 1. Let's say our first target may give us close to 3 to 1. But as it's trying to get to our first target, we start to show a little bit of trouble. There's nothing wrong with taking a piece of the trade off. Even if you're in 100 shares, there's nothing wrong with taking a piece of the trade off if it's starting to show some issues, because you don't know at this point whether it's going to get sold all the way back off or whether it's going to continue to push up. So, and that's why in this case, as we tried to push back up, we couldn't hit the 87 target, which was the first target. And this candle, we left a little wick up here. This candle opened and immediately went red and started showing some selling pressure. Well, being that 50-cent risk, we're over a point, go ahead and take it off. Take half of it off. You're over a point, go ahead and take it off. If it continues to sell off really hard, then you can just dump the rest. Or if you wanted to, you want to just lock in all of it. It just depends on your comfort level. What do you feel comfortable doing? If you just want to take it off here, all off, you could do that. But even though it continued up, this is not a bad exit, because you've already reached, you're over 2 to 1. The stock is starting to show some weakness, because at one point this candle was solid red and we were showing some selling pressure. So no problem with that. And as it comes back up, you've got enough in there where you could take more off. If you want to let it run and see how far it can go, you can do that too. So it all depends on how you feel about the price action how far do you feel this stock can go based on the price action that you're seeing? And that's how you're going to turn and adjust your targets. But as a brand new trader with very little experience, my suggestion is always, once it hits your first target, take everything off. Don't try to read price action yet. Wait until you get a good feel for it, and then you can start doing it. Because what it'll do, it can start cutting into your profits, and you start feeling inadequate. You start looking at how much money you're making versus the skill part of it, and it can hurt your confidence. And that's why I say don't look at how much money you're making. It's not about how much money you're making. It's how much skill are you developing at this point in time. Can you retain the skill from day to day? Can you build on it so that you can come and start adding some share size? That's what it boils down to. When you are able to add size, and this strategy and all the strategies that I teach are very scalable. Okay, now obviously you're not going to come in and you're going to trade 10,000 shares of this. That's not, that's not feasible with this stuff. But I mean, even though it's possible, it's just not what I would ever feel comfortable doing. But the possibility is there. It is scalable. The stocks have good volume. The spreads are usually within range. So it's about picking the right stocks as well, making sure they have enough room to move, and then just executing your trade plan. And here's one where I took last week, and you see 5-minute opening range breakout. The problem was I had to wait until we got over all of this, the moving averages and stuff, for this to make sense. So as we were coming off the moving averages, this was a solid entry. First target up here was the 50 period. Well, unfortunately, I didn't have this daily level drawn because I have to transfer levels from my Thinkorswim chart to my DOS chart. And I was watching this chart, because I was talking about it in chat. And this is the chart that I stream because it's connected to my trading platform. And I forgot to put this level in. This is a daily level. It respected it in pre-market here, which was very, very important. And you can see how strong it was throughout the day. Had I seen this, I would have looked at putting my target here on looking for a quick move up to tap this and then possibly settle back below the 50, which is exactly what it did. But because I didn't have this here, I messed up on my execution, ended up taking some off here, thinking that we had a chance to get to the 100. And this is what happened. So this is what I told you, it can turn around and come back on you on a dime. So even though I only made about $30 or so on this, the issue was, and I can't remember what day was this that I took. Was this? I'm wondering if this was the day that we had trouble with the platform as well. We had trouble with the platform disconnecting. And I think I couldn't get this order off early enough because I was going to take it off early, but I already had my stop in place, which was cool because that stop did hit. I wasn't able to get in and take this off earlier when I saw, how hard it was selling. And, that saved me. But this is just an example of what can happen with these stocks. 5-minute opening range break, and then it hit up here. We had a massive supply zone. I saw it, just couldn't do anything about it. because of the issues, and then we saw big sell-off. Now, even though this was a server problem, it was DOS. It was a problem with DOS. It's happened to me on IB. It's happened to me on Speed Trader, where they have an issue with the server and we disconnect from it. Sometimes it's my internet, but this time it was the server. And this doesn't happen often. It just so happened that Friday we had an issue with SureTrader again with buying power. And that usually happens maybe once a month. And you can guarantee once a month there's going to be an issue with the buying power updating or the two platforms merging together. You know, whatever the case is, you know, we did have that issue on Friday. So this was a unique week that we had two issues back to back. You know, normally don't really have any issues at all. So let's take a look at Twitter. So this is the trade that we're going to look at today. We're going to dissect this because this shows this shows everything that I teach. And this is everything put together into one trade. And this is the end result of where you need to be once you get ready to start sizing up. You need to be able to do this without even thinking about it. You need to be able to employ all of the strategies, stick to your trade plan, and, you know, consistently day in and day out. And if you do that and you get to size up, these are the trades that I make a living day trading on. This is exactly the type trades that I make a living day trading on. Catch the opening range, catch a couple of the trend continuations, and then catch the late day sell-off. And this could just be the opposite. This could be a long trade. If the chart was set up, was inverted, and this was a long trade, I could do the exact same thing to the long side. You know, if the short side gives me the best opportunity, I'm going to go short. If the long trade gives me the best opportunity, I'm going to go long. That's, you know, the way I do it. But this is where you can grow from this. You know, this is the trade I took on Twitter on Friday. Just one hit. You know, we didn't get to the level that I wanted to get to here. And as it started to go up, you know, I sold it. I covered it. But we had a platform issue, like I said, the second day in a row with SureTrader. I closed out my 100 share position. You know, marketed out 100 shares. And immediately I was long 900 shares. And then within 10 seconds, it was gone. You know, it went in, the order came in and it disappeared, you know, just as quick. Thankfully, I have some members that record, you know, the sessions, and they were able to, and I was able to get screenshot of the phantom order show up and then disappear. It's like I was in long 900 shares. And then a 900 share buy order again showed up. And then all of a sudden everything disappeared. But it was a $60. It added $60 to my profit. Now, and that was crazy. But, you know, after that, I was like, okay, I'm done. You know, I'm not messing with it anymore. And so this was designed to be get in. We didn't quite make it. I was taking it all off. And I thought about getting back in and doing a continuation, but I didn't. So my mini-me, who was trading, this as well, pretty much did everything that we went over in class on Thursday. Everything about the continuation was put into play here on this stock and traded it exactly the way I like to trade stocks. This is the end result, guys. Once you get through everything, this is the end result. It takes a while to get there. You can't rush it. You can't force it. You have to let it come. But when it does, it's a beautiful thing. I can promise you that. All right, so let's go ahead and dissect this trade. All right, so we are looking at Twitter. This is pre-market. This is the move after earnings was announced. And we had the little bounce back. And we kind of settled in right here on this level. This actually is a daily level. And we bounced back up. Now, what I look for, and I kind of look at this stuff. This is interesting. But after 8:30 is when I really start looking close at what it's going to do. Because 8:30 is usually when you get more volume or players are up, you start to see more things happen. That's typically what it is. Now, Twitter is a different beast, all of them on its own. This is a highly traded stock, very popular. So a lot of big funds trade Twitter. So you're gonna have a bunch of volume pre-market, like we see here, really starting at just before 7 o'clock. You got over 100,000 shares traded, and up here between 8 and 8:20 or so, you're trading over 500,000 shares per 5-minute candle, and so that's a lot of volume coming through. And this stock has an 800,000 share float. It's not even a billion share float, but this thing is really getting in a lot of volume. So the first thing that I look at is, okay, after the bounce, where's the high it put in? So that's the first thing that I want to pay attention to. So here's the high right here. I'm going to pay attention to this. And I want to see, are we going to bounce and push over this going into open, or we're going to sell off? If we push over, that's going to change the way I look at this trade. Now, a lot of people ask me, what's my bias? What's my bias? I don't really have a bias. I try not to have a bias. I try to read the chart, and I try to let the chart tell me. But more importantly, I like the market to open and tell me what direction it's going to do. I get the question all the time as well. This stock reported good earnings. Why is it tanking? Or this stock reported bad earnings. Why is it running up? Who the hell knows? All I care is the chart's telling me where to trade, and I'm going to trade it. I really don't care what it reported. I'm trading how the market is digesting, what was said. And that's all we're doing. And more or less, it's human emotion. And that's all we're trading. But I do look at this and to give me an idea of where I can start building my trade plans. And, I know I start after 9 o'clock. I look at these levels as potential profit targets. I knew that if we stay below the VWAP and we set up for opening range breakdown, This could be a first target if it's far enough away. This could be a first target, and this could be a final target. The pre-market low. This is the low that it dipped to when earnings was announced before it got bought all the way back up. So I knew I had these here, and I didn't mark the long ones, but I did have levels up here that if we went long, you know, I could go. I had a long trade, but it may not have worked out had it popped up, because it probably would have gotten rejected by the 50 and got sent back to where it came from. But either way, I'm going to be ready to address it one way or the other. Now, oftentimes stocks start to set up long and it doesn't have a good enough window of opportunity to make profit, so I won't trade it to the long side. A lot of times the best profit opportunity is to the short side, and that's where I'll take it. But you know, I don't mean to be short biased. It's just that that's what sets up for me most of the time. I would definitely take a long trade. You know, I took a long trade early this week. I think I took 2 long trades. So I'm not against going long. It's just that whatever the market's going to tell me at the open with the stocks I'm watching, and hey, that's what we're going to trade. So I marked the levels here off my daily chart. I'm monitoring this, so I'm just going to sit back and watch the price action going into the open. Okay, once we get an opening candle, now I'm starting to say, okay, the likelihood is we're going to sell off. Okay, this is solid. We got a lot of volume. Look at the volume on this first candle here. Over 4 million. Over 4.5 million shares traded on this first candle. That's a ton of volume. And it went up and tapped the 20, and it just completely sold off. We're seeing a lot of weakness. So for me, looking at this stock, looking at the profit potential, looking at the big selling volume we've got, this is a prime candidate for me to take short on the break of the opening range low versus waiting for the next candle to close and then take it. This is a prime candidate for that. So that's why I got in on the that's why I got in right here at the break of the opening range low. That's why I got in right there. Let me move this back some. It's being funny. Don't want to work. Don't want to work with me. Now it wants to work. So that's why I got in right there. That's why I got in and didn't wait for it to close. Now, yeah, I could have waited for it to close here, but it was just too much momentum, too much good volume, too many big sellers. It was just a prime candidate for it. And that's what I was trying to show you guys in chat. This is what I look for. This is the momentum to the downside that I'm looking for. The volume. You know, we don't have them crazy candles with huge wicks at the top and the bottom. You know, all of that stuff will pause me and tell me, okay, I need to wait for this next candle to let me know what's happening. But we didn't get that. We got the solid candle. We got in. And first target, for me, this was a little bit too close. Even though I would have taken it here if I had to, it was a little bit too close. Now we did drop down and had a little bit of trouble here at 36. It didn't want to lose 36. And we were watching that battle on time and sales and level 2. And there was a lot of hidden orders going through. We didn't see them on level 2, but we saw them going through on time and sales. And that's why you just can't rely on what you see on level 2. You really rely on watching the candle formation, watching the candlestick, and watching time and sales, and watching those orders go through. That's why we watched that. So we got the drop down to 35.50, and we started seeing the same battle here. Now our target was 35.25. It didn't quite get there on that candle, and when it looked like it dipped down here again and it started to get bought back up, that's when I got out. I felt the change in momentum. And as you gain experience in reading price action, you will get the feeling. And you will know when a stock is getting ready to change direction. Now, we don't know whether it's going to continue to push up and blow through and run up. We don't know that because we don't know what's behind it. We're the low men on the totem pole. We're the very last to get any information. The only thing we have going for us is being able to see the candlesticks as they form and being able to, use the price action to our advantage. That's our edge. We can't give that edge up. So that's when I took it all off. I was well over a point. So why not go ahead and take it off? I met my 2-to-1 goal, even though I didn't hit this target, much less try to get down. So there's always, again, the continuation trade. And we have the leg down right here. Coming down here, we've got that leg, right? And we're pushing up. We're trying to stair step up. So here, we're trying to form this flag. We're trying to form this bear flag here. Now, I'm not sitting here looking at, well, here's a bear flag forming. That's not what I look for. But I wanted to teach you guys that because some of you, it's easy for you to see these forming and use this as a confirmation that we may be heading back down. So we're looking for an entry for our continuation pattern. And for me, I'm looking for it to reject a daily level. And this was as solid as it can be. Look at how solid this support was. So now I'm going to look for this to be solid resistance. And sure enough, once we got the rejection, it's time to get in. It is time to get in on this entry right here. As soon as we broke the low of this candle, we jump in. Our target's down here, 34.32. This can't be a target here. We're looking for it to fall through this. Now, you do have some more conservative traders that will wait until this level is broken and get in on this. And they will get in right here. They'll wait and they'll get in there as soon as it breaks the previous low. Now, I mean, that's fine, but for me, if I see it starting to reject I'm going to feel comfortable getting in it. Especially we're seeing everything trending down. Everything is in a downward trend. We got tremendous downward pressure on the stock right now. So that doesn't mean it's going to keep going down. It definitely can bounce. It can do that. You can have some big dude come in and throw $1 billion at this and buy it up off this level. You don't know. But that's why we have our stop in place, so that if something does happen, we're only going to lose X amount of dollars. We're not going to be sitting there with that deer in the headlight look while we get run over. No, we're not going to have that. We're going to have our stop sitting there. And I showed you earlier on a trade where, we had trouble. What was it, HAL? When we had trouble with the platform, we lost connection. If I didn't have my stop in place, I probably would have been come unglued. But, that's why I worry about that so much. I know how this market can move. We need to be protected. So, you can still get in here. Now, we didn't quite make it to 34.30. We bounced off at 34.50. And as this comes up, you could actually take your trade off here and just say, okay, I'm done with it. Or you can wait and let this come back and retest this level and see if we get a move down. And eventually it made it. It never did breach this 35.25 level. It held as resistance once. It came back and tried to do it again. Eventually the 20 came and crossed below it. No reason to get out of this trade at all. And it made it down here, so you can exit here. Now, let's say you did take it off here and you got in here. You see it come up and it reject. You see it come up here and it rejected it again. You could always get back in here, because what do you see happening here? Once we put in that second tap, look at what was happening. This is a lower high. This is a lower low. We are coming down. This is a triangle. So you can get in anticipating this break right here. Anticipating this to break and getting your move down to 34.32. It's just using everything that we taught. Now, we're not worried about not making $1 because our risk is not going to be that great. Look how close we are to our technical levels. We don't have to give it 50 cents. We can give it 25 cents. We can give it 30 cents. So we can look for a 50 cent, 60 cent move. And all we're doing is we're developing skill. So even though this is a 100 share move here or a 200 share move, as you get confident and you've got all of these tools in your belt and you're able to use it day in and day out, and you're able to be consistent with it, bam, you increase your position size and you start getting some money coming in. Instead of getting a couple of dollars in, you'll start to make some decent money. And as long as you continue to trade within yourself, you're going to get to that next level. All right, so hopefully, this helped you guys understand exactly where we're going. We're going to get to this point, but it starts at the beginning. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. Got to get that first step down. If you can't trade the open, then you're going to have to focus on getting the secondaries trades. But if you're there at the open, this is where your day is going to start. Okay, and this is going to set the tone for you the rest of the day. All right, so real quick, we're going to wrap this up. We're going to look at our numbers for the week. And then I'm going to sign off and enjoy the rest of my weekend and get ready to nail Monday. So, here's my education model. And it all starts with connecting life experiences with what you're learning. That's where the trader's mindset come in. You get that for free. If you're a member, you have free access to it. If you haven't gone through it, go through it. It should help you learn a lot about yourself and about who you are as a trader. And then we've got the live classes, but the live training web or trading web is the chat room. The chat room is an extension of the classroom. That's why I'm streaming my platform live. That's why I'm trying to teach you as I go, because it is a live class. Pretty much a live class every day and every morning. Now, no, I'm not talking from open to close. That's crazy. Why would I sit there and talk about nothing when there's nothing to talk about? But when we're trading and things are happening, that's when we're learning. And your guided practice is going to be you trading either in the simulator or live trading. That's your guided practice. And I'm there to help you answer your questions when I can. Obviously, if I'm in a trade, I can't really answer your questions that you PM me because I'm watching, my trade. But if you're in a trade and I'm not, I'm there to answer questions to help guide you through what you're doing. That's what I'm there for. And then again, we already talked about how important journaling is. Journaling is a real big part of reflection. But all through the process, you're getting mentoring. I'm mentoring you every day. Now, some elect to do the one-on-one mentoring, where we really break down their trades and we go through it one tick at a time. That. But there's mentoring that goes on in chat every day. There's mentoring that goes on in the classes. So all of that's intertwined. And this is really how the market looks. My model looks, not the market. So, of course, I'm going to start out with the huge swing trade win. 44, 48, 95 was the total I pulled out of that. So not a bad month. We started it on the 9th, ended it on the 24th, a day too early. A day too early. I had my stop set at 213. I got 5 cent slippage. Got out at 212.95. Had I held it for that one more day, I could have got out at about 218 and added another $1,200 to this. But that's life. That's my fault for not verifying when earnings were going to be announced, whether that morning or after the close. All my fault. But I knew this thing was going to tank when earnings were announced, which is why I got out of it when I did. I wasn't going to hold it through earnings. but I wasn't going to guess and hold short. Because that would have been a 100% gamble. Even though I had real good vibe that it was going to tank, it's still a gamble at that point. So, very happy with that. This made my month. I don't really need anything else. But very happy. Hopefully, I'll be looking for, one or two of these next month or going into next week for, to lock in some profit next month. But we'll do our swing trade watch list session in the morning and see if we can identify some of these. This week, very slow week. Again, only 23.87 on Monday. That was one that went up. I took some profit, but it didn't follow through. Ended up not getting out fast enough and lost some profit there. Same thing happened on Thursday. We had that issue with the platform. But, that was okay. Had the hard stop in and ended up getting some slippage on it. And then Friday, yesterday was a pretty good day. Twitter did us right. So, very slow month. I was out this whole week. You can pretty much say I was out this week. I was just not. Thursday I came in trying to trade after I took some medicine, and I was asleep in a trade with no stop, nothing. So that was very scary. And guys in chat were just sending me messages, but hell, I didn't see them until I woke up. So I knew then I can't take that medicine. I have to take it once I'm done trading. So thankfully I don't have to take that pain medicine anymore. But that was an ordeal there. And this week just didn't have anything going. I missed a couple trades, running my mouth, and just what happened there. So 2 more days to this month. If I can have 2 good solid days here, Mike could squeeze a good month out of this. You never know. But I just didn't do much trading. Just did not do much trading, guys. And you can see all day holds very slow here. I had the 2 here Monday and Tuesday of my vacation. Making money on the beach. But didn't do a damn thing since then. Nothing. Here, I was gone here and didn't do anything. But, we'll see. I look for these every day. They have to be legit setups. If they're not legit, I'm not taking it. I'm not chasing it. This is just another strategy that can pad, or add to my profit total at the end of the month. So even though I've only taken 4 of these trades, I'm up $2,600 on this. So add that to my 44 here, and what do you got? A pretty damn good month. Alright, so that's going to do it. I've held you guys long enough. So we're going to wrap it up here. And we're going to get after it Monday. And we'll see what we can do. So we can turn this thing around and start getting some momentum in the right direction here. So you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I will see you Monday morning. If not tomorrow morning.